Okay, guys, I'm gonna do this, and I don't know how much energy I have. With my battery is like really low. That's what I meant to say, battery, not energy. But yeah, my battery is like running really low. But I figured with this time that I have, because I had some time today, the fact that the people that are doing the construction downstairs in the bathroom, they left, so I had like, it's actually quiet, sort of quiet. You're probably gonna hear my daughter in the next room. So it's sort of quiet, but at least you're not going to hear drilling. And then my husband has his work meetings, and then on top of that he does he's full-time, he's a full-time student, so it's very loud. Just the house has been very loud, and just a lot going on. But I wanted to do this video. I've been wanting to do this for a while, and it's just kind of an update, just briefly talking about a little bit how it is to live in this area. I think I've said it before, I'll say it again. This is like a 99% or like over 99% white majority neighborhood. Okay. So far the people have been very nice. I can't really complain. There has been, I think, like I said in one of my more recent videos, a few times where we went to the store. It hasn't been like on our, on our block or within this little area that we live in. It's been like when we go to stores and stuff that things have happened with me that I've noticed. Thankfully, I'm not complaining. But there's been like, I want to say like 3 occasions, maybe 4, where there were women who were just a lot older, who were just giving me not so nice looks. And in every case, it was always women. And I would say 55 was probably the youngest. They pretty much feels like they're a lot older. And I guess they see me and maybe they could tell that I'm not one of them. That's the assumption that I get. My husband hasn't really had any issues out here, surprisingly. Yeah, I guess I thought it was going to happen with both of us, and it doesn't really seem to happen with him like that. It seems to happen with me. And it's not like they're necessarily like aggressive like that. It's just looks. I used to get looks where, by women too, where I used to live, but it feels like when it was where I used to live in the neighborhoods I grew up in and all of that, it was more by people who were younger than me, or even people close to, my age range. And it did happen, even before we moved, it did happen, where it was like the women it felt like they were getting way more aggressive in New York, like wanting to fight and like, doing certain things with like staring people down, like they wanted to get into something. It was just like the overall climate in that part of New York, and just in New York City in general, where the crime is just going up really high. Just felt like there was a lot of people that just had that type of negative energy, like they wanted to, to do something. And there was a couple of occasions where I had one woman was in Sephora, and she was basically at the register, and me, my husband, and my daughter had went in there for something really quick, and I wanted to make that trip before we moved out here. And so I went in there, and she turned all the way around because she was standing at the register with her friend, and she physically turned all the way around just to stare at me, just to look at me. And I'm just standing there with my item in my hand with my sunglasses, and and I'm like, like, what is your problem? And she kept staring at me in like this aggressive way. And at the same time, while she was doing that, my husband and my daughter, they were facing me, so their backs were faced that woman staring at me, so I could see her because I'm facing this way, but my husband and my daughter are facing me, so they didn't see what was going on. Normally my husband catches on to things like that really quickly, so I know for a fact he didn't see, and he ended up taking my daughter out of the store because my daughter was trying to grab everything. And so basically the woman is just staring at me, and at this point my husband had left, and she goes and she takes her phone out. And I'm like, I'm like, does this chick see me on YouTube or something? Like, this is the first thing I thought of, even though I have a small channel. I'm like, is she gonna take a picture of me? And I'm like, oh God. This is like in my eyes. I kind of roll my eyes or whatever. And so then I got to the point where I look at the phone and I look at her and I do that back and forth. And like basically telling her, go ahead. Like, you're gonna take a picture, go ahead. Like, what am I gonna do? You wanna take a picture of me? Go ahead. So she goes, and eventually, like, whether she took the picture, it didn't look like she did. I don't know. Maybe she did. I have no idea. She eventually turned around. And then finally, the next register over calls me up, because I was next in line. So I'm going to do my transaction. And at the end of the transaction, the woman passes me my item. It was a bottle of perfume, and she tells me, have a good day, beautiful. Now, when she said that to me, I didn't take it in any way other than, I guess, Sephora employees have to call their customers beautiful now, like, I didn't take it in any way like she was giving me a genuine compliment. But as she said that and was passing me my perfume, the woman looked at the cashier so bad for just calling me that, just calling me beautiful, that the cashier flinched. Like, she went like that. And I'm looking at the girl too, like, so me and the cashier are looking at this chick like, what the hell is wrong with this woman? Like, she was angered about the fact that I got a compliment that was probably just a superficial compliment that the employee had to say. And I kind of feel bad if they're making the employee say that, but like, just the fact that her reaction was so bad and was looking at the cashier so bad, and the cashier flinched like, oh my God, like, well, what the hell is wrong with you? You know what I mean? So then I grabbed my thing and I told her thank you, and I left. And I don't know after I left if she took a picture of me or not. I have no idea. I mean, I was dressed halfway decent that day. But it's just, point is that, like, these things, these little, like, stuff that women go through, stuff like this happens, and especially like in the city that happens, and I guess it's gonna happen out here to me to some degree too sometimes. But like I said, out here it's been like older women, and there's more of like I guess there's more of the racial undertone with it, you know what I mean? So it is different. It definitely does feel different. Not that I didn't go through that in New York City, because yes, I did. I said it in videos in the past. I'll say it again, that I've had discrimination on all sides. There was no exception from white people, especially like in my youth. It was like a lot more prominent in my youth. So now seeing it again as an older person, it's kind of like, oh wow, it's been a while. You know what I mean? Because it's like, after that, it was like I was having more little types of encounters like that with people, my own kind, I guess you could say. But yeah, other than that, let me see if there's anything else I wanted to say. But other than that, like, I know that was the whole entire story. I figured it would be interesting to tell people. But other than that, there really hasn't been anything else going on. It's been nice. The neighbors are really nice. There was a point where it snowed really bad, and my husband was out shoveling, and the neighbors from both sides, once from each side of our house, both sides, came out with their snow blowers, and they helped get rid of like all of the snow in front of our house. So that was really sweet, without us asking. Like, they just went and did it. They just went and helped us. Another thing is that I think we said it in like the more recent video that everybody out here is armed. So this is like a really big hunting culture type thing. Like, this area, like, a lot of people hunt, so everybody is armed out here. Not into hunting, but hey, it is what it is. It doesn't matter. As long as the people are good with me, I'm good, I'm good with them, and I could care less. There are certain things that I miss, that I sort of miss about, living close to New York City. Definitely the different varieties of ethnic foods, just the different variety of people. There's stuff like that I miss. But other than that, it's like, would I trade this current peace of mind for that, to go back to that? And I don't think I would. It's just so much more relaxed out here. and the way New York City was getting, I was like, I just didn't want to be there anymore, because it started to feel like it was turning into the way it was when I was growing up. Then there was a time with my daughter. This was prior to COVID. I go to pick her up from school, and we're leaving the school, and for the very first time in my whole life, I saw a little boy and a little girl fist fighting. Not play fighting, fist fighting. They were about 11 years old, and the fact that it was a boy against a girl, and he socked her in the face so hard her head went back. And I'm with my daughter, and I'm like, oh my God, like, I didn't know what to do. And I was like, if I was by myself, I know I would say something. I knew I would say something. I know how I am, even though I might have gotten me into trouble with the parents, whatever. I mean, to me, it's like, if there's an adult around, they got to try to stop that, you know? But because my daughter was with me, I didn't. Because I didn't want to put my daughter in any type of danger where I try to tell them to stop and then they start bullying my daughter in school or whatever. Yeah, just, the first person I think of in any type of case scenario like that where there's something like violent happening is that I'm not going to put those people first. I'm going to put my daughter first. And if people can't understand that, then whatever. But like teachers, and they were teachers that were like letting kids out from school, so they probably saw like nobody did anything. And I was just like, man, I want to get out of here. I was like, I want to get out of here. I'm like, who and why? And why are these babies fighting in front of the school like that? And why is it a boy against a girl? And just the blatant disrespect, and the fact that it seemed like nobody cared. It was sad. And I just said to myself, like, I don't want my daughter going here. I don't want my daughter going here. So that's pretty much it. I mean, I just kind of wanted to give an update and just kind of get away from like the super serious things that I've been talking about, right? Like recently or whatever. And I just kind of wanted to do something that's a little more chilled out, that has nothing to do with anybody else other than myself. So that's what I did. And yeah, I think that's about it. I think I'm gonna go for now, and I guess I'll see all of you guys in my next video. Take care. Bye.